My name is Toon. I've been lifting for over 16 years, pretty much over half of my fucking life. I'm 31. I started lifting when I was 14, and I've learned a lot over the years just from then to now. I started off at about 200 pounds. I was pretty chubby. I was a I was a chunky kid. And ended up being bulimic for a bit. Lost a shit ton of weight way too quickly. Ended up in the hospital, and in that hospital, something kind of flipped in me where I was like, all right, I got to get my stuff together here. I got to really lock in. This isn't what I want for myself. This isn't what I envisioned for myself. And I was watching a lot of Dragon Ball Z at the time and anime in general. And seeing these guys, I started to just try to embody the mantra and the mindset that they would have with their lives, man. Because Vegeta, for example, man, you literally see him training in the capsule corp pod that Bulma gives him, and it's like this guy is grinding day in and day out to try to get stronger, try to be stronger, to live up to be the Prince of all Saiyans. You know what I mean? Like, I tried to, as a kid, I tried to just think like that consistently, and the biggest aspect of that was just the process. You know, at that age, man, I think I started at my lowest. I was at 130 pounds, just super skinny, dude. I couldn't bench the bar. I had no strength, but I knew, hey, man, I wanted to get bigger, but I wanted to be lean. And at the beginning, man, I didn't really know what the hell was going on. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't hire a coach. I didn't have any money. You know what I mean? My dad gave me some tips, but I had to learn a lot on my own. And I think that's something that, anyone who wants to be successful in fitness has to really, you got to understand. And you have to fall in love with the process and the journey of what it is we're actually doing here, man. If you look at it like, let's say we're playing video games or something like that. You start playing Elden Ring. Bro, I'm not playing this game just to get to the end and fight the final boss. It's the journey. It is the day-to-day, like the aspect of every time you log on, you're enjoying what the fuck you're doing. But if you turn on the game, you're like, oh man, I don't do this shit again. I gotta go fucking run through this path here. I gotta go dodge these 30 enemies. I gotta go kill this. It's like, man, then you're not enjoying it. You're not gonna probably beat the game. You're not gonna get to the point you're envisioning. And circling it back to fitness, I had to find a way to really love the game. And if there's one thing you get from this, whatever aspect of the journey you're at, it's always about finding out how can you make this as enjoyable as possible, or have it have the least amount of friction as possible between point A and point B. Because if you're like loathing, man, the day, it's going to be really fucking hard to keep going. Of course, having that end goal is important. Having that vision, that conviction, like, yo, why am I doing this? Why are you doing this? Like, why are we here right now? Putting in that blood, sweat, and tears, bro. Like, it is just bar none. It's fucking hard. That is why you have to, at some fucking level, fall in love with the process, the everyday grind of this shit. That literally, man, the aspect of weighing out your food to a certain point. I mean, it's kind of annoying, but like, it's a little therapeutic in a way. Just brushing your teeth, making your bed, whatever it is you do on the regular, just making this stuff a part of your lifestyle. Like, this is just what you do. That is falling in love with the process, that identity shift from point A to point B, to say, like, this is who I was before. Oh, bro, I just imagined someone like crawling through my window behind me, bro. I'm tripping out. But it's, I don't know what that was. The aspect of who you were before and where you're trying to get to. There's this book called Atomic Habits by James Clear, and there's a really great tip and notion in it where he says, if you can imagine the person you're trying to become, start to make decisions and choices as if you were already that person. Why is this important? Why would that actually help you? Well, think about it like this. If you're just somebody who's trying to gain some size, right, get a little bit fucking bigger, pack some fucking horse meat on the goddamn little brittle bones you got, what would they do in this moment when you're out, right? I remember back when I was first starting off with my journey, there's a lot of times, man, even your friends or your family, they start asking you questions like, oh, bro, you don't want to eat my food? Oh, you don't want to come out for a drink? Oh, bro, why are you eating like that? And it's it's exhausting, right? It can be a little badgering with regards to your ego, because you're like, oh, dude, why are you guys questioning me so much? And like, how come you're not just supporting me? And why do you want to talk down to me about this and that? But they're not on the same journey that you are. And a lot of times when we're coming from a certain starting point and trying to get somewhere else, the people around you aren't going to be fully supportive, even if they mean best. It is unfortunately, like, it's human nature for people to just, man, they'll just be condescending or patronizing. And that's part of the journey where you, again, have to have the conviction and you have to have the belief in what you're doing and your identity, where you're saying, okay, you can, hey man, you want to complain or you want to bitch at me about, oh bro, how come I'm bringing in some meal prep, or how come I'm getting a steak and just a salad instead of getting a steak and a fucking pitcher of beer and a burger at the restaurant. It's like, you know what they think really doesn't matter. But this comes down to that process. These days you go out, when you can finally make that decision, when you're in a position, right, where you can make a decision to go path A or path B, where, for example, let's say you're at a wedding, all you can eat food. You have the choice of getting all these sweets, and man, I've been there so many times. I got a wedding coming up next week. That's probably why it popped in my head. You got all these sweets and all this good shit that you could just fucking start mowing down, you know what I mean? Just fucking feast on it, bro. Naruto and ramen, just fucking guzzling it down like some fucking glizzies, dog, but you can't. Well, you could, and that's the thing, you could. But what are you gonna do? Right? If you're really trying to get to a certain point, if you're trying to lose 20 pounds or 30 pounds for a certain date, is this really a moment where eating all that shit is going to be aligned with what you're trying to do? Or should you stick to maybe just having these red meats, man? Like, that salad really isn't that bad, bro. Like, have the salad, man. Have some of the veg, have some of the fruit, have some of this, have some of the steak, bro. Have some of the fucking wings, like, instead of going for the sugar. I've got a big sweet tooth, so that's what's coming into mind for me. But every little choice that you make that is more aligned with where you're trying to get to gets you one step closer to literally that point. And it's important to always be trying to actively make those proper choices, because every choice is one step closer to where you're trying to get to. One step closer to breaking the habit. Shout out Linkin Park, dog. I was about to make another pun. Like, yo, you got to be numb to motivation. Mindset over motivation, man. Always, always. Motivation is great when we have it, but it's not going to always be there for us. And that's why the process is so important. Falling in love with that is so important. That's the biggest thing I've learned over, or one of the biggest things I've learned over these 16 years, right? It's kind of crazy. I guess it's 17 years, 14 to 31. Jesus Christ. The days and the weeks and the months where you don't have motivation, you got to keep going. You got to keep trying to stay on track and pushing forward. Right? Like, brothers, like, there's this, life is short, but it's long. And every day and every hour, every action that we stack up is just building those blocks on us, man. It's like we are literally a character in this fucking game of life that we're adding on to every day. And that's why that consistency and that discipline is important, and why that mindset is so important. If you're watching this video, man, make sure you subscribe. If we get this to 50 likes, I think I'm gonna start doing some more videos like this, trying to figure out what works. But the mindset is such an important aspect of things, because your inner voice, your subconscious, and just the programming that you have from childhood and teenagehood and early adulthood, wherever you're at in life, that shit is hard to reprogram. It is built into us from the way our parents raised us, the things we've learned in whatever school we were at, the curriculum, the things we've watched growing up. And it's why pornography is so hard to break for so many people, because you started watching it and seeing it from such a young age, and it's just the fucking dopamine hits. And when it comes down to fitness, it's just the quick dopamine that you get from just fucking eating sugar and like, oh man, and just having a quick little snack. But the more we fight against that, the more you can lock in mentally, the more you can bulletproof your identity and who you have as, and that inner belief for when you envision yourself, the better off you're going to be. Yes, the physical aspect of fitness and the training and the nutrition is important, but it honestly all comes down to your mindset, man. The intensity you have in the gym, mindset. The discipline you're able to apply to your everyday life and the gym and everything, mindset. when my mind personally is weak, bro, like that's when things slip the most. That is when I really start regressing with regards to my lifts, my intensity, my training, my ability to like to keep my nutrition on point, hitting my protein target, keeping my calories at a certain range. It's all my mindset. If I start slipping, even if I start feeling depressed because I've been inside so much, I'm a gamer, man. You know what I mean? So I'll be inside. I could be inside for days. I know that's a terrible thing, but I've been inside for days before, even over a week, without leaving the fucking house or my apartment. Because I was like, bro, like, why do I need to? What's the point? But then I start getting this. I start feeling anxiety. I start just feel weird, man. You got no vitamin D. But it's because I started to let my mindset slip. I start letting my day-to-day routine slip. I start letting my process slip, and that's why bringing it back, falling in love with the process is so important. But I hope that helps y'all a little bit. I haven't done a video like this before, so let me know what you think in the comments below. I don't want to yap for fucking 30 minutes. I thought 8-10 minute little talk would be good. I don't even know how long this has been going for, but no, man, I appreciate y'all. Joe Show Club. I just did a stream on Twitch yesterday, live workouts. So if you ever want to see those, follow me on Twitch. I'm gonna try to see if I can multi-stream it to YouTube too and see how that goes. But fuck it, we ball, boy. All right, man. I hope y'all stay beautiful. See you soon.